Oh, well, hello everybody. So here we are. We have got 3 shows down. The Pacific Northwest portion of this 8 show West Coast run is now complete. I think I would say that maybe in order: the first night in Seattle, second night in Seattle, and last night in Portland. Maybe one, two, three in that order have been my favorite shows. That I know we're only 3 shows deep. Although I think we are starting to see once again, we just had a few shows in Mexico, and then this run's only going to be 8 shows. So it's really, I'm hesitant a little bit to be like, well, this is what we are in 2025. But I think it's pretty safe to say that even once summer kicks off and they start to get more shows under their belt, that these are, in fact, the same songs that are in the rotation. There are some that are suspiciously missing, I feel, out of these first few nights. It seems to be, which isn't totally unheard of, but definitely leaning more into the jamming side of things as opposed to some of the earlier, more just kind of the more complex songs they have, whether if it's YEM, Divided Sky, David Bowie, those things, and then also Tweezer and Down with Disease. Ruby Waves absent. What's going through your mind, obviously, is going to replace one of those. Now, it does seem like it's going to be pretty much at the top of the rotation as far as just our big extended jam on a given night. No problems with that, really. I mean, even with the lacking Tweezer and Down with Disease and Ruby Waves, there's been no lack of jamming. So I think I would lean into, yes, it's like, yeah, this is where we are, I think every time we're expecting something totally different, it's just not going to happen. These are the songs that are most comfortable with playing. And then I must say that also, if I take a look back at what was my favorite stuff from each night, that first part of the first set on night one, it was like Sand, Theme from the Bottom, Back on the Train, and Kill Devil Falls. All 4 songs that get tons of play. And man, all 4 of those, that was just a great way to start it. Then you had Stash and Gin. Also, what's going through your mind that first night, Stash and Gin, night 2, 46 Days and Sigma Oasis. So that's some of the best stuff so far over the first 3 nights, and all of those, get played a lot. You might say too much, but then you look at okay, If I Could, that was great to hear. I was happy they played it, but it's not one that I'm walking away from the run being like that was some of the best stuff. Same thing with Pebbles and Marbles. Boogie On last night. I'm always down for a Boogie On. But none of those really jumped out as like that was outstanding. A bit sloppy, a bit rusty. Maybe sloppy's a little harsh, but certainly not in a caliber of My Friend or Theme from the Bottom. So I know I totally hear and understand the complaints about the same old songs. But, that's their best stuff. What do we want? I've always maintained that I would rather a good show with a lot of familiar favorites as opposed to a show with a bunch of bust outs that are a bunch of duds, I mean, or you just got to go completely bust out. About 8 or 9 of them in a show. That happens occasionally. Once every other year, maybe. The not talking to the crowd is interesting, especially Trey just coming off of the solo acoustic stuff where he wouldn't shut up. You get like a 30-minute compilation of him just up there talking away each night. I understand it's a little bit of a Trey storyteller's tour. But is it just the crowds are too big and too rowdy? I will say that I always comment that like I never hear what he's saying, whether if I'm there at the show or if I'm on couch tour. I never really I'm like, what did he say? What's he saying? And it's like these are large crowds. People are fired up. So maybe that has a little to do with it. I know last night in Portland he did. Said something to the crowd. Probably thanks for having us. It's been a lot of fun. Great city. And we can't wait to get back in 19 years. Something like that's probably what he said. I do like the set list. Some of the newer stuff that's been played so far are all songs that I like from the newer stuff. Maybe they've kind of gotten a feel for it. They've had a year or two with some of these songs. They certainly can read the crowd, what they like, what they don't like. Like something like Evolve, Wave of Hope, What's Going Through Your Mind, Monsters. These all seem to be playing off well, so coming off well, I suppose. And they seem to be sticking around, although they still hit us with them all. I don't know. I don't know how that's still getting played in 2025. And I like Mike songs, defender of Mike songs even. So we got some more. I'm sure, and is it possible it's going to be the no repeats run? It's not impossible, but unlikely. But that it's possible. That's why something like Tweezer, Down with Disease, Ruby Waves is missing. You know, got to save them for L.A., San Francisco. All right. Obviously some good stuff's going to get left off though. We're already 3 shows deep, and there's I could rattle off a dozen just absolutely outstanding songs that probably they're not going to play them all over the next 5 shows, or you're just going to get a complete ringer of a show with like a YEM, a Fluffhead, a Mike's Groove, a Tweezer, a Dirt. All right, guys, boom. We are out of here. We will see you late tomorrow night. Or will it be more like Wednesday morning? What day is this? What's going on? All right. Boom. Giving you the double fingers. Boom. Bang, 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 bang. Beam, beam, beam. Pew, 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 pew. Fired lasers now, huh? It's big, man. Things get weird in the Pacific Northwest. Pew, 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 pew.